The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Korner Booth podcast. I am your host, Jared Clem, alongside the Italian Viking, the TikTok myth, the man, the myth, the legend, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Ordazzo. Folks, we made it. The tampering period is here. And I have gotten more texts over the last 24 hours about, oh, your Eagles are letting guys go. I'm like, we can't pay everybody. Listen, TJ Edwards, Javon Hargrave, and Marcus Epps all career years. The only one that hurt me was Epps because that's my dog. I love Marcus, man. It sucks, but at least he's going to my uncle's team. He's going to be a great starter for them. I'm ecstatic for Marcus Epps. But you want a little prediction, Matthew?
Oh, Marcus Epps
going to the Raiders and Javon Hargrave leaving means the Eagles have cap space for a certain safety who played for them last year to go with Reed Blankenship in the back end of the defense. So, is it going to be perfect? Hopefully we get him back. See my boy CJ back, but apparently also Bradbury and the Eagles want to reunite again. And Slay's not getting traded. That whole thing was just in case they couldn't work out a restructure, which apparently they're going to. I don't know. All I know is it's going to be fun. But, guys, we got a great show today. On top of it being the World Baseball Classic in full swing, NBA's heating up. March Sadness for me kicking off. We also have a great guest. A lot of you guys know him as one of my favorite guests on the show. He is the founder of Juice Media, is rocking over 1 million followers on YouTube and TikTok. This man, not only he has that little cool little plaque in the background of his background, by the way, the little YouTube plaque. I love that thing. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend, Pittsburgh Yinzer, and one of my all-time favorite people, ladies and gentlemen, the Rhino, Frank Michael Smith.
That's an incredible intro. These keep getting better, man. Let's go. Let's have a show.
Listen, man, I knew you were coming on. I was like rehearsing it, driving home in traffic today. I was like, I got to make sure I do my guy right. By the way, Frank, you've officially been on where I actually have a co-host. This is my boy, Matt. We went to college together.
What's up, Matt?
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
Frank,
it's good to be on. I mean, Jared and I, we've done some hours on here, so it should be great.
My favorite thing was when Frank goes, yeah, I'll host your live show with you. And I'm like, do you know what you're getting into? He goes, yeah, man, we got this. And we got into something heated last time you came on. I can't remember what it was about, but you finished your beer. And he's like, hold on. I don't remember what I have to go back in the tapes. It was something NFL related, and you and me were disagreeing on it wholeheartedly. But I said, as far as guest hosts go, Frank is one of the best because Frank is 100% genuine. And it's always great having him on. But, Frank, we were talking NFL free agency. It's been wild the first day. Being an Eagles fan, everyone and their mother's been texting me about how, oh, you lost Epps. Oh, you lost Hargrave. Oh, you lost Edwards. What about Slay? What about Gardner Johnson? I'm just like, guys, it's day one. Like, ask Anthony Barr and the Jets how some of these deals go through. I don't care. Until the ink signs, I don't care.
It's so much more about the draft, especially for a team like the Eagles that's drafted so well. Like, you should have no reason to be sweating at all.
I'm not. I mean, honestly, you want my dream offseason. We bring back Slay. We restructure him. If we get Bradbury back, okay. I love James, but listen, I know he can get better money from Oakland or from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's
what you have to – like, it's so rare that these free agency deals go well.
Mm-hmm.
The hit rate is so low. Like, my Steelers today lost Cam Sutton.
Yeah.
He got 3 years, 33. 3 years, 33. Like, that's an overpay. I like Cam Sutton. He had a great year, but I don't want him for that. I don't like him that much.
Hey, you got the retirement home and Patrick Peterson.
I'm conflicted on this. Like, it's been a long time since I remember a corner that was 33 that could really hold down the one. But if anybody can – yeah, right. Joe Hayden was a little shaky towards the end. We love Joe Hayden.
Yeah.
But if anyone can do it, I'm thinking Patrick Peterson can, turn the clock back a little bit. Why not?
He almost reminds me of like Deshaun Jackson, where like his speed doesn't go away regardless of how old he gets.
No, he's a football player, man. That's what he loves to do. I think he's making this move. I did not see the number come out. So if you guys know the salary number, that might change my opinion a little bit. I just saw it was 2 years. So
split screen Matt's on the case.
It could change things.
Nice
but
split screens.
I doubt it's that much, man. He's getting towards the end of his career, and he wants to play for a winner. Makes me feel good. Makes everyone feel good.
I mean, depending on what Lamar does, you guys might be the second best team in that division. Because I don't know what the hell is happening with Lamar.
Let's just do it.
So
now,
far,
man.
no compensation updates on Patrick Peterson.
Okay,
well, yeah, we'll talk. Right? It always comes out with compensation. I don't know why it didn't.
Maybe. Well, yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's still. Maybe it was like a verbal agreement, and they're like, "Oh, we'll just figure the details out on Wednesday when the cap's clean."
Maybe.
I don't know, because Pittsburgh's like what, middle of the road? They're like around where Philly is for cap space.
Yep, we don't have a lot. I mean, there's still moves we could make. I'm pretty sure we could still cut Trubisky, which I would do. You know, he's getting paid like $7-8 million to be the backup. Look, man, he would be a decent backup for any team. But come on, man, $8 million, no way.
He could also go get a guy like Gardner Minshew for like 4. Or even maybe less. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to
draft the guy in the 5th round. Pay him like the minimum.
Yeah. Apparently, they want us to go. I keep seeing mock drafts with the Eagles going out and getting the kid out of the kid who's dating Liv Cowherd, the quarterback from UCLA. What's his freaking name? He's got like 14 last names.
I don't know.
I don't know either. I just know they're like, oh, he's kind of Jalen Hurts-esque, and I'm like, that's fine as long as y'all ain't trying to do this whole quarterback factory thing again. That was funny for one season because of that Carson's expense.
Yeah, I mean, you guys played your hand so well.
Howie's a mad scientist.
Speaking of the Eagles playing their hand well too, I don't know this guy's name. I'm blanking on it right now, but the Steelers hired the guy who built the interior of the Eagles lines. So everyone's like banking on this guy in Pittsburgh right now, being like, he got all these guys together in Philly. He's going to do the same thing here. We're going to draft a beast tackle. Like,
that's all Howie. I'm not trying to burst your bubble.
That I was just going to ask you, how much credit does this guy get in Philly?
Okay, he's so. I know the guy you're talking of. The fact I don't know his name isn't a good sign for you. It's the fact that like anybody, like, listen, even ask Matt. Joe Douglas has been great for the organization. Howie Roseman's GM tree is terrifying because it's all a bunch of killers. These guys are evil geniuses when it comes to the cap, re-signing guys, finding guys deep in like free agency. Howie, up until about 2 years ago, has been awful in the draft, so I'm not going to act like he was a superhuman with it. The Jalen Hurts pick was the first home run he's hit in a while.
I was very against that pick at the time.
Oh, I
didn't see it. I did not see it with Jalen Hurts at all. I mean, I watched enough college football to know that he was not going to stand back there and just deliver darts. Like that was not who he was. He spent all that time with Alabama, and it's hard to decide whether a quarterback's good at Alabama or not because he's playing around everyone who's going to the NFL.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, he seemed like the dual threat guy that always doesn't work out in the NFL. I was so shocked. And you could see it a little bit in his rookie year too, or not his rookie year, but when he first got on the field, I was like, oh man, like he stands back there and like is not scared. Like he's taking hits and he's throwing good balls. It was like a different person showed up.
It's the Lincoln Riley effect. I swear that dude, he does something with these quarterbacks. I don't know if he is something with like mental therapy or counseling where he says, hey, listen, sit back, pace yourself and let it rip.
I mean, I've been saying that for a while. There's no cap on coaching. You can pay the coaches whatever you want. Your team, all of these teams, are worth at least $2 billion.
Yeah.
The coach is probably, you know, if not the first person, the quarterback's most important person in the building. The coach might be number 2. Why aren't you paying that guy like $20 million?
The only issue is if you miss, right? We saw this with the Raiders last year where, like, they basically couldn't fire Josh McDaniels because they didn't have enough money in escrow to fucking fire him. And I'm like,
they owe Gruden all that money, and he's suing the NFL. And it's like,
he still has like 5 more years left on that deal.
A 10-year deal. How about a 2-year deal?
It's just like I think it's just the Raiders are like the joke they're like the exception to the rule. Where most teams can like. All right, when the Eagles fired Peterson, he had 1 more year left on his deal. Laurie had enough money to float the contract. There was no problem. we're talking mobile quarterbacks who can sling it. You said Lamar Jackson. I wanted to hear your thoughts on this because the way I look at it, and the more and more I hear guys talking, who actually had a really good opinion about this was Pac-Man Jones, was on your fellow Yinzers podcast, Pat McAfee, and he's chatting about how Mama Jackson, I think her last name is Smith or Jones, whatever her name is, or I think it might be John. I don't even know what his mom's last name is. Either way, she is representing him, right?
Yeah.
Her lack of connections on teams is killing them in negotiation. It killed them in the draft. Pac-Man literally looks at Pat and goes, dude, he went 32nd overall. They had to trade with Philadelphia to get back into the first round. And they had clowns like Josh Rosen and IC Ghost Darnold drafted ahead of him. And Lamar is supremely talented to everybody in that draft except maybe Josh Allen. So they had nobody.
Do you want to talk about the agency part of it first?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, listen, you're the one who actually has the agent, or at least I know you. I've actually talked to the man in the past. I don't know if he's still your agent, but I'm saying you've had an agent, you have one, whatever it is.
I am. I'm rep by WME, William Morris Endeavor. They rep athletes too. My relationship with them is nothing like what they do with the athletes. Like, it's a very different game. But if you can represent yourself, I have no issue with that. You know what? Why not? If you're confident enough to do it, and you feel like you have the leverage and you can get this done, and maybe you hire some lawyers on the side to help you, cool. I'm gonna be on your side on that one. But if you're gonna go to war with the NFL, and you're going to have the most high profile free agency that we've seen in the last 5 years.
I think the only thing it might have been worse.
Like Kirk Cousins was a big deal too. This is similar.
That
to
was
Kirk
more
Cousins.
like the Washington just bumbled the hell out of that thing.
Quarterbacks don't hit free agency. So basically, if you are going to be a quarterback that hits free agency, if you're not going to sign the extension, then you should probably hire an agent, man. Then you should definitely hire an agent. Like, that is a totally different beast than just negotiating with the Ravens. Now you're negotiating with the entire NFL. Like, bro, I don't think your mom's up for the job.
No offense to Mama Jackson. I don't think she's there for it. I agree. And also, I think the last high-profile free agent like this was Peyton. Because Tom basically was like, I'm picking
good, and that makes a lot of sense. So that was what, like 2010? That was a long time ago.
2011 or 2012.
All of us were freshmen, and all of us were freshmen in college when he was
2012 to 2013.
Yeah, it was 2012.
So that's how long it's been, man. It's been 13 years.
Holy shit, Frank, you just made me feel so old just now.
We've got Kirk Cousins and Peyton Manning. We've got 2 in 13 years. And if you want to count Jimmy Garoppolo, fine, but I'm not counting it.
Yeah.
That doesn't count. He's more looking up which porn stars live in Oakland than he does actually care about the offense he's running. With Lamar, the kicker with me
is in Vegas is a nice ring to it. I like,
dude, that's hysterical. I completely scrapped on that one. Vegas, Jimmy G in Vegas. My uncle, who's a diehard Raiders fan, is texting me nonstop because he listens to the show, and I'm like, I still hope they go get Stroud, even because I think he was the perfect draft fit for them. But I know McDaniels is going to say, oh, I want this kid. He's either going to take a risk on Richardson at 7, or he's going to wait and go get like Hendon Hooker in the 3rd round, who I think is a more polished Dak Prescott.
Well, we talked about Anthony Richardson being a project as a guy you don't want to start right away, but if you give him a year or 2 to sit, I think Jimmy G's a fine quarterback for him to sit behind. That's going to be the case. Yeah, that is very true.
The glass man.
Everyone's starting to talk about Richardson now, but this is a guy who, if he had like 1 or 2, maybe just one more big win, we would have been talking about him for the Heisman. Like, he was really, really good in a lot of these games. I even filmed a video about saying, like, don't be surprised if Anthony Richardson goes number 1 overall. And then they had a couple letdown. I didn't put the video out because they had a couple letdown losses, and I was like, now there's no way. But I probably should have put it out because now it's like, my God, this is in play again. Like, he just crushes the combine, and here we go. It's like, it's every year we do this cycle.
That's like me last year. Last time you were on, I had that North Carolina to the Final Four take, and everyone thought I was an idiot. I'm like, listen, this team rebounds and they play defense. Like, that's a scary combo. With Richardson, and even we'll just circle back to Lamar quick, and I'll just put a bow on this. Lamar's biggest problem, he has no connections. He's going to war with the whole process. And he should at least have somebody, maybe the guy who brokered the Deshaun Watson deal. Don't even have to hire him. Just make him an employee for the week. Have him broker the deal. But the problem is the Deshaun Watson contract.
I think that had more to do with just going to the Browns, and they were so desperate.
Listen, just bazooka that contract. Did you see how they restructured that thing? It's $64 million for the next 4 years after this.
Yeah, they found every loophole in the books to do that one.
Oh yeah, no, there's a dead cap year in 2027. I'm in my office today, and I'm literally like trying to like wipe my eyes. I'm like, that says what I think it says, and we're going with now we've got Anthony Richardson, and I look at what he goes to with if he goes to the Raiders. I think if McDaniels can just chill on the overcomplication of his offense, I think it's good. I think it's great. I just think the biggest problem is that offense is like fucking trigonometry. Trying to understand it's like insane.
I've heard people talk about Miami, and I would probably say the same thing. And in my heart, I do think about the same things. But here's what I know. I went to Miami for the Steelers-Dolphins game this year. Mm-hmm. First of all, they don't play in Miami. They play in Fort Lauderdale. They should rename the team. So I went to Fort Lauderdale for the game. It was an awesome experience. I was there. I had some connections. I got to go to the Steelers hotel. I rode on the bus with them to the game. It was sick. I had full access. Wow. I was eating food with them in the hotel. I was dialed. All right. I'm in there. I'm like on the field pregame, talking to all the Dolphins fans. I'm the only Steelers fan like in my crew. Tua played this game, and he had sat out maybe a couple prior to this, whatever. And it was his first game back, and he immediately ran and kind of lowered his shoulder a little bit. And everyone was like, oh my God, whatever. But the fans, their reaction was not like, it didn't stay like that. They blast his name from the speakers. Tua. Every fan is fully in support of Tua. Like, it is not a discussion down there. That's their guy. Like anyone else outside who's just like, oh, maybe they're reconsidering. I mean, go down there. You'll stop thinking about that immediately.
It's that I kind of agree with that.
I agree with it. I don't love Tua. I'm just saying.
No. I'm saying I agree. I'm agreeing with the concept of national media blowing things out of proportion.
Oh, for sure.
I've seen it also in the reverse, where your cross-state rival city of Philadelphia, their media is the worst. I swear, half these dudes from from the local stations, I follow them on Twitter for my Eagles, and I'm like, guys, will you stop and just relax? It's not like the whole Hurts thing last year. Like, Hurts isn't the guy. We should go draft a quarterback. And I'm like, give the kid a full season with a new head coach. Like, chill. And I think with Tua in Miami, the whole Flores thing just started that off on a bad rip. I think
they were a successful team. They were a good team last year. I don't know why you'd blow it up. I don't love Tua, but I would stick with him again if he can play football, if his head's okay.
The problem is Tua is the fourth best quarterback in his class. That's the problem.
I mean, it's funny, like getting a guy who can go so deep in Tyreek Hill and getting the quarterback who can never outthrow anyone. It's a strange dynamic. And then you have Waddle on the other side. It's so weird to me, but it works. Like, they were actually a good team. And of course the wheels fell off at the end of the season, but I'd ride it out. I'd definitely ride it out.
There's no reason to hemorrhage your entire salary cap for the next, 5 years on going after Lamar. I think Lamar is going to learn eventually that, those guaranteed contract, that Deshaun Watson, that's an anomaly. It's never going to happen again, or at least it's not going to happen for a very long time, because especially Lamar, who's been injured twice for extended periods of time in the last 2 seasons. His timing was terrible. He bet on himself and he missed. It happens.
He should have played. He should have played football. I mean, I don't think the reports ever came out that said he was cleared or anything. But when he first went down, and what was it, week 13 or 14? There was still a lot of football to be played.
Yeah.
The reports were never season-ending injury. That was never reported.
It was week to week.
Yeah,
it was
1 to 3 weeks.
It ended up being like a 7-week injury. I was like,
yeah,
what's going on here? Because
Garner Johnson came back with a lacerated kidney after 5, and I was like, and Lamar's got ankle problems.
If you're going to bet on yourself, you have to play.
Yeah,
you have to play. This isn't college football where you're like, oh, let me skip the bowl game. Like, this is the NFL. Like, you got to be able to show you can play, because one of the big gripes about running quarterbacks, and Lamar in particular, the past few years, is he's not available. So, as a Steelers fan, I've seen a lot of Tyler Huntley. It's been good. I love playing against Tyler Huntley, but I'm also not that scared of playing against Lamar. No one in the AFC North is. He's good, and he had an amazing MVP season. And I'm not saying he can never be that guy again. He can, certainly can. But when it's third down, it's 3rd and 13, it's the 4th quarter, it's a little cold out, you're not playing in a dome, he doesn't scare me. He does not scare me about making a play. And like, I know part of that's about, he hasn't had great receivers, but I think everyone loves Andrews. Andrews did nothing the second half of the season. Like, he could not get the ball to him. He does not scare people.
I think the biggest thing is Lamar is the perfect storm of what a lot of NFL media is. Highlights, quick clips, but on tape, Frank, we've had this conversation. I love watching tape. Like, literally, our running back draft segment, I watched maybe 4 hours of tape today while I was working, just kind of like looking back and forth at my screen, on my phone, whatever. I watched like 2 or 3 hours this weekend while I was doing meal preps. Lamar on tape is awful to watch. If you've watched, like, you go from like watching quarterbacks who are considered elite. I always start off with the cream of the crop. I start off with, like, the Aaron Rodgers, the Joe Burrows, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes still, his tape, by the way, is the weirdest thing on the planet. Because if it wasn't the fact that he hits these throws, you'd think he's a horrible quarterback. But then he just makes the most ridiculous play, and it works. I love watching Jalen Hurts because his read progression is incredible. Justin Herbert, same thing. And then I go to Lamar, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, you should be progressing by now. You've been in the league for so long, but it looks like you're regressing. Every season, he gets just a little bit less accurate, and his decision-making gets worse. And I'm like, buddy, like, and I think the whole thing with not playing, I think it comes down to his lack of like counsel from not having an agent. If he was a seasoned vet, I think he'd be perfect.
Look, if you don't scare me on 3rd and long, then you're not an elite quarterback. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. Like, there's ways to be good, and that is an absolute essential. You have to be able to make those plays. That's why he doesn't play well in the playoffs. You get into those situations, it gets tough. I think the Ravens are being smart about this. And I think the way it's being covered is pretty vicious and like unfair in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's saying that like, oh, like there's a league collusion against him. I'm not so sure about that. I'm really like, and that, first of all, that has happened in sports before. Mm-hmm. It has happened. There has been collusion, and it's been exposed, mostly in Major League Baseball. But I really don't think that's the case right now. Like, who are the Ravens bidding against? Where is the right situation for him? We saw all this action today. We just talked about like 3 teams in their quarterback situations. Where do you see a spot for him? I'm not sure I see it.
I think they're letting other owners right now try and set the market for them. And I think they're going to match whatever offer somebody gives him. But I think they're hoping that somebody bids low on him, doesn't give him all the guaranteed money he wants. And then Eric DeCosta is going to come and be like, oh yeah, I'll give you that. No problem. Sign him right now. Take 2 first-round picks. Call it a day.
I agree, Matt. I think that is exactly what they're thinking, but I'm wondering who this team is.
Oh, can
we run through, like, is there like an ABC that we can run through? Because I'm kind of lost.
I mean, maybe Indy, maybe Washington is going to try to do something, but Washington might be out now because this gave De'Aaron Payne half a Brinks truck. So I don't know. Like, it's weird because everyone thought when they got Bieniemy as an offensive coordinator that was like, oh, Lamar's coming. I'm like,
I really think he should go to if it's any team, I really think it should be a dome team.
Like Indy?
You got it. Yeah, you should play to your skill set. I think Indy could be. I mean, is Indy really going to do that again, though? I've heard the reports that come out about Indy where they're saying, like, we're done doing this QB carousel thing. We're drafting a guy. Like, I think they were very upfront about that. I remember there being a quote. So I don't think it's going to be Indy, although I think that would make sense.
I think I just listen to McAfee too much. I think that's the problem.
Me?
No, I think I listen to McAfee too much.
Oh.
I think that's the problem. I don't know. Like, I think the only team that has like so much open cap space and they could throw him the money is Houston, but Houston would never, and he would never go to Houston. I think they're betting against a fictional imaginary team, and when no offer comes, because the Ravens have played poker against Lamar for the last year and a half, and Lamar had the advantage until he sat out games. And now the advantage of public persuasion is leaning towards the Ravens. Everyone's ripping on the Ravens in the media, but the NFL world all is looking at Baltimore like, okay, they played this perfectly. Like, as much as Baltimore has been somewhat of a also, Baltimore got burned. Everyone forgets they gave Joe Flacco the Brinks truck, and the closest they got back to the Super Bowl was getting knocked up by Peyton in the Miracle at Miracle at Mile High or whatever. So I don't blame them for being cautious. I think Lamar tried to play chicken with the Ravens and they won.
You know what's funny about that deal? I remember that deal happening because Flacco was awesome in those playoffs, and like nobody complained. Everyone was just like, "My God, Joe Flacco just won the Super Bowl. He looked sick for 5 weeks." Like, yeah, of course you got to do that deal. But looking back on it now, everyone's like, "Oh my God, the Flacco deal." It was like $20 million a year.
Yeah, I think it was like 190 over.
That's how much
years,
more quarterbacks are getting paid right now. That
Oh,
was like $20 million a year, and he like reset the market. You know, that's how crazy it's gotten.
Then you have the reverse where Matt Ryan took a cut and then had an MVP season. That was the other one that stood out to me.
Yeah, it definitely stands out. I mean, Atlanta would be an interesting spot, right?
I don't know why they're not going all out for Lamar. It makes no sense to me.
I think it makes sense to me. I would not want Lamar as my quarterback. It makes sense to me. But the fact that he's not able to get any of these teams to, like, why haven't we seen a headline where it says like X, Y, and Z having preliminary conversations with Lamar Jackson? Why isn't there a video that we've seen of Lamar Jackson getting on a plane and someone's tweeting about where his jet's landing? Like, that's what usually happens. We're seeing none of it.
I know it's almost like they've got him in lockdown down in where's he? Which section of Miami is he from? I can't even remember.
He's from Holly. He's at Pompano Beach.
Pompano Beach. Okay. I'm surprised he's not in lockdown. Him at his house, like just not leaving. Because like I don't.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're good. You're good. I was ranting about like he's just gonna go.
I was gonna say to what Frank was saying before. I mean, like you have fucking Jets fans got the flight info, the whole itinerary for Woody Johnson's plane going to California. We had a guy hiding in the bushes when we were interviewing Robert Saleh. Was hanging outside of Florham Park in the bushes. He was NYJ Bush Boy or something like that. But like we had crazy coverage and you got nothing on Lamar. Remember Deshaun Watson was all over in his little in his fancy cars and his agents like we wanted to
and
be
the jerseys like he had the
and,
picture of the 4 final jersey he was going to take.
Nothing on Lamar.
This is weird, man. It's just everything feels Frank, like, you're right. Everything feels off.
Everything's off, but I really don't think it's collusion, though. I really don't.
Oh, no, I don't think so either. I
think these teams have wised up. Mm-hmm. I mean, you even look at a contract like Dak's. Dak's was a really big deal. Although Dak did not hit free agency, that was a battle. He went to war with the Cowboys, and it ended with him breaking his ankle, and he got the deal anyway. And he's been fine, but I guess you got to pay him. But he's getting $40 million a year. I think he signed 4 years, 60 or something like that, or 4 years, 120. I don't know. I'm bad at math right now, but he got $40 million a year. So these teams looking at that and be like, what do the Cowboys do in the playoffs? Not much.
Yeah. And it's not like,
do you really want to pay that guy $40 million? You're short everywhere else. Like,
so
I don't want to pay that for Lamar. And I think he wants more than 40.
Which is he's not worth 40. He's worth maybe 35 right now. I could see
no way.
35.
I'm paying like 20 for Lamar.
Fair. See, I look at my team and the team that lost the Super Bowl the year before. Both of their quarterbacks up for contracts. And Burrow and Hurts, those are the engines that make that team run. If you tell me, so the Super Bowl, right, Frank? I was upset about it, and I was upset not because of how Bradbury got nailed with that call. I was upset because if you give Hurts a minute 20 to get down the field and either tie or win that game, you got a lot of Chiefs fans like clenching up because they're not ready. Because like he's done it before. He did it in less time against better defenses. So with same thing with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had the Rams on the ropes. Donald doesn't hit him. Jamar Chase is trotting to the end zone, and that Stafford touchdown, that Stafford like victory parade never happens. Yeah. So both back-to-back Super Bowls came down to one last call, one last bang-bang play, and that's what happens. But both those guys are terrifying human beings. They have like that kind of like that Jordan Kobe vibe as quarterbacks, that Brady kind of move where it's like, okay, you get my boy under center. He's going to kill you. You better hope you can stop him. With Lamar, like you said, unless he gets outside and some dude makes a stupid bonehead tackle, I don't really fear him. I don't.
No, and you know what? I think we've drove that point home, but here's another one. The whole media, like every time you flip on SportsCenter and they want to talk about Harbaugh and Lamar when things are rolling, oh my God, this is the best rushing offense since year. We've all seen that 100 times. That's like the big talking point is they built this team tailored to Lamar's skill set. We've all heard that said on ESPN 1,000 times that, oh, they built around him. What a crazy strategy that is. Like, what a masterful job by the Ravens front office. And it's smart, and I'm not taking anything away from that. They did do that, and it has been successful in the regular season. But why aren't we talking about that now? Maybe one of the reasons, call me crazy, that none of these teams are reaching out to Lamar is they have not, made the decision that, hey, we are going to have you be the center of our universe. We are willing to tailor our entire coaching staff, our entire roster, our entire strategy around you. Because that's kind of what we've been told you have to do to win with Lamar. And like, that's a big mountain to climb. Those are a lot of decisions that just have to go completely opposite to what you've been used to doing. It's very similar to Draymond Green. Mm-hmm. Draymond gets paid a lot of money, but he can't get traded. He can't get traded because... Well, no, listen, he's more valuable to the Warriors.
That's beautiful, that analogy. I love it.
He's more valuable to the Warriors than he is on any other team. Like when Dylan Brooks says, like, he's like, you wouldn't know who Draymond is if he was on any other team. Now that's an exaggeration, but he's onto something there. Like there is something to be said about the positional fit, the organizational fit. Mm-hmm. You can't trade Draymond, and they've definitely thought about trading Draymond, but they can't get much back for him. He's not worth as much to other teams. I think we're seeing the same thing with Lamar. Baltimore knows it, and they're waiting for someone to match. And Matt, like you said, it'll probably be low.
You know what? And the more, Frank, I thought Lamar to another team was going to happen. Now I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, maybe he is going to be a Raven for life because the thing is nobody else is going to take him. Now I would love for him to go to Washington and get that slime ball Heineke out of my damn division.
Well, you don't like Heineke.
I want that dude slammed through the turf as many times as possible.
I like Heineke. He's gritty, man. I like him. I would have
he's
him
gritty,
back
but he's
up
also a complainer. He gets tackled. He flops and then's like waving his arms.
I remember that play. He's a good backup, though, man. I wish
hell of a backup. He's a gritty little bastard. The problem is you can't be gritty, but then act like you're a victim. Like you pick a lane, dude. Like it's the biggest thing in football. Like CJ Gardner-Johnson.
That's not a normal thing for him, though. Wasn't that just one play?
No, he's done stuff like that
before. Okay,
he's done weird things where it's like he acts like a victim one play, but then he's getting up after he just dove 5 yards across the pylon against the Bucks. And I'm like, dude, you got to pick a lane here. You're the gritty working man's quarterback, or you're a pretty boy calling for PI. Roughing the passer. I'm not the biggest Heineke guy because I've seen both sides of the card. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
In the NFL, I think it's the one sport where you have to be on brand, right? Like Juju this offseason has been on brand. He is a clown, okay? He is too concerned about social media. And yes, I wanted to take at least one shot at Juju this offseason.
Dude,
he's more concerned about those.
You just don't wear the skirt, man. The skirt.
Oh yeah, like, and you want to take shots at AJ Brown, dude? AJ looks like a linebacker. He'd knock your ass out.
I mean, Juju's a big guy, dude. I don't know. Like, that would be a good fight, dude. Have you seen Juju? I
actually seen him in person. Like, he's a bigger guy.
No,
but like I also saw AJ Brown in person.
No, AJ Brown is a big dude. He's big. He is bigger than Juju. But we're talking about two of the biggest receivers. Like, Juju looks like a tight end.
Yeah, you know what? I give Juju credit because he's good at what he does. It's his attitude. Like, I think Vontaze Burfict knocked some marbles loose in his head. Not as bad as AB, obviously, in that Murder Bowl game. But I think Juju, like, never – I don't think he ever kind of grasped the fact that, like, hey, I'm an adult. I'm a professional athlete. And also, by the way, I didn't do jack shit during the Super Bowl except get called for a penalty. But yeah, I mean, look, maybe I'm just salty.
I mean, he made some plays. Like, everyone in Pittsburgh still likes Juju. I mean, he's a but I kind of take this side of it. The whole like new media thing with players, like that's basically what Juju's a part of. Where it's like, hey, I'm gonna build my brand right here and right now. And because no one's going to give a shit when I leave the league, and I want to have maybe he wants to be a Twitch streamer. I don't know what he wants to do, but it seems like that. You want to be like ASAP Rocky and just leave your career and become a model. Like, I don't know. It could be either things, anything in between. You never really know. Like, he wants to just do TikTok dances, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Can you hear me? Am I cutting out a little bit?
We got you on video. We got you on audio. Your video just cut out.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We got you. It's a little glitchy, but we got you. Listen, if he can't hear me, I'll just text him quick.
No, I think he's. I don't know. What was I gonna say?
I think you're coming back. I got you now.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. I just texted you. I'm like, we got you. I
thought though about Juju. I'm just kind of on the side of like, I want my players just to have their number one priority to be, I want to make millions and millions and millions of dollars. And this is my number one job. I don't have a second job. Like that really resonates with me. And I think that's just deep down what every fan wants. Like, dude, no, I don't care to listen to any of these NBA players podcasts. Like, if you're retired, I'll listen to it. Like, I love JJ Redick's podcast.
Oh my God.
But you know, like, dude, just do your job and like be a cool football player. Like, that's the dream, isn't it? Like, do you got to be on Twitch?
Like, I would like one of my dream guests. I'd love to have AJ Brown on a podcast because or even like I'd love to have Juju. Like, I like these guys' personalities. I like the fact we understand who they are as people. But to say like Darius Slay has a podcast with Cowherd, but he only does it in the offseason.
So I should have made that distinction. Off season, of course, like do whatever you want.
Hustle, man. Get your cash. Do it. Like, the biggest thing about the NFL, I don't know if Frank, you ever saw 30 for 30 broke with like Andre Rison and Michael Vick? It's one of the best ones of all time, right? Ever since I saw that podcast, listen, I'm blue collar as hell. I'll say it's public. My biggest paycheck I ever got in my life for a year was like 38 grand. Okay, I have never seen what it's like to not have to struggle day to day for bills. Do I blame other people for making more than me or do it for me more successful? No, I'm a product of my work ethic and my environment. I'll get my shot. That's how this world works, especially in a capitalist America. Here's the thing, not to get all economical and all like, fight the power kind of shit. Here's the thing. I love watching players get their money because when it's over, unless you're Tom Brady or Greg Olsen or even like guys like
Tony Romo,
Jonathan Velma or Emmanuel Ocho. Emmanuel Ocho was booty cheeks as an actual NFL player. He's a better commentator, even though he's not that bad. He's like more of a hot take artist than that. Marcellus Wiley was a average defensive end. He's become more of a personality. Perk was trash. No, he was just a good defender. He was trash. He's a trash. JJ Redick, dude, torched this dude like some bad hot sauce. But to my point, these guys make their money post-career. Go get your cash, man. Like guys like Todd Gurley, whose career ended too early because he just genetically got screwed. Guys like who's another one that it just
that Gurley contract was crazy. I was
I know it was wild.
Like, why do teams still do this with running backs? Like this, it's gonna like, I would never take one of these guys in the first round. And I actually made a video a while back saying, like,
I remember this video. Wait, did you post? Was this the running back video you posted?
Yeah, it was a long form video where, like,
I think I remember you posted.
I want to see these guys get paid too, but I would never pay one of them a big contract. The running backs, at least, I would never do it. Like, it's only shown to not work. Like, there's not really any exceptions.
Here's my thing, because I think I actually texted you about this video. Was my biggest thing about running backs is that the NFL is very cyclical, right? We're coming out of the wide receiver pass first league, right? Who was the most impactful player in that game in the Eagles Chiefs game? Arguably, it was Isaiah Pacheco. That man literally kept some of those drives going.
See, he's a rookie, though. He's an undrafted
He's a rookie. Yes, he's a rookie, right?
Seventh rounder or something.
Here's my other part of this game. Who was the biggest disappointment for Philadelphia besides Jonathan Gannon in those playoffs? It was Miles Sanders. Dude averaged like maybe 1.8 yards a carry.
He just left the game.
Literally, no. What was it? Sirianni pulled him. He goes, I'm done with you. That's why they let him walk. That's why they basically said, we're not going to bring you back. You killed
what you should be able to do, though. The rookie scale contracts were a good thing for the NFL because you had guys like Sam Bradford getting paid like
floppy sleeves.
Like crazy amount of money before ever playing a snap. You can't have that. But what you also can't do is have a running back that goes number 2 overall, like Saquon Barkley. And, his best season is his rookie season. That's his prime. And he's never able to actually negotiate in his prime. That's totally unfair. He's 26 or 27 by the time he hits free agency. It's totally screwing the running back position. And other positions get affected too. Like, I guess corner is kind of hard as well. Like, but it's really running back that gets the short end of the stick here. You should be able to negotiate.
Oh, yeah. So I think maybe we'll never get to the part where they can negotiate the rookie deal as much. There's going to be scaling. I think scaling, as much as it sucks for certain positions, scaling is good because of, like you said, the Sam Bradfords, the Jamarcus Russell moves, all that stuff, right? The biggest thing with running backs is the evolution of how the running game has been done, where like every team has a decent number 2 running back. Everyone always makes the argument, you can always get one in the second round. Yeah. Go get an all-star. Go get a Henry. Go get a Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, whatever.
Le'Veon Bell was a second rounder.
Yeah, but Le'Veon Bell also just his career died after he just said, I'm going to sit out for a year.
He also turned down $15 million to play football. That usually doesn't help.
Stupid.
On this day 4 years ago, 4-year, $52 million contract. He was getting $13 million a year.
Didn't he? Yeah, he played with your Jets.
Got his money, man. He got his money, but it cost him his career.
2 of the 4 years, both with Adam Gase, both were horrendous. I don't think he ever had a 100-yard game. But you can't, it's Adam Gase.
You can't tell me it went well when you're fighting Adrian Peterson in a boxing match 3 years later. You just can't.
Or that he's losing his coach job to like 38-year-old Frank Gore in like 2021 or whatever it was.
Peterson is the reason why they still pay running backs. It doesn't, and Derrick Henry the same reason. And they're talking about trading Derrick Henry.
He's really the only exception. He's the only one to have like seriously good seasons post 27, 28 years old.
I will raise you. I think that Derrick Henry is the next exception. Henry takes good enough care of his body. The kicker is with running backs. The running back is the most important position on the football field when it comes to taking care of your body. Brady proved if you take care of your body as a quarterback, you can play till you're almost 50. But his arm, you start to see he didn't have his fastball anymore, and it was starting to affect his accuracy. But with running backs, sometimes you're fucked genetically. Like Arian Foster, Todd Gurley, exceptional backs, but they couldn't hang on. I think guys like Saquon and JT, I think they look at guys like Peterson and look at guys like Henry who take care of their body. Henry's routine is insane. I don't know if you've ever gotten a back.
I've seen the videos. That
that's just the teaser, man.
Some of the stuff that he and Tyreek Hill do are they're otherworldly. They don't seem like they should be possible for humans to do. Guys, this is amazing. I love the show. I got to bounce right now. I got an NCAA player draft. Wish me luck. I'm coming for that title this year.
Oh yeah. Frank, man, hopefully we'll get you back on the show soon, man. Good luck on your bracket, by the way.
Yeah. It's a player draft. It's level up, yeah.
There we go.
By the way, on my Panthers in the first round, that play-in.
There you go. Listen, my Tar Heels have been dead in the water. So at this point, I'm rooting for my second team, Miami. So that's all I got. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to find any of his amazing content, Frank Michael Smith on TikTok, YouTube, and you got the FMS podcast now. It's kicking and rolling.
Twitter, Frank Mike Smith. If you want to find me on Twitter, Smith, that's right. One that's different. I appreciate you guys. You're the best.
Hey, listen, favorite guest of the show, Frank Michael Smith. Clap it up for him. Let's go.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks, Frank. I love having him on.
That was awesome.
Because you know why? Grew up like us. He's our age. He gets our like whole thing, right? And it's great when I have like a guest like that, or I just like text like, "Hey, what's going on? How's life treating you? Want to come on the show?" It's like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." I'm like, "Yes, we're back in business." What the fuck were we just talking about? Oh, we were talking about running back.
Yes.
Well, this is perfect because I want to talk running backs for the draft. So, Frank, thank you for what you've done, my friend, because you know what? I think running backs should get paid, but you have to take care of yourself. And one thing I was going to make before Frank had to dip was, you ever notice how NFL athletes in their videos, they're getting away from the traditional lifts? It's a lot more band work, cables, body weight, and somebody like me who's dealing with an injury at 27 years old. I'm starting to understand it, man. Listen, I did most of my workouts today was cables. I think the only thing that was a traditional lifting of weight was a Smith machine military press. That's it. Everything else was cables or bands. And you know what? I had a great workout. My body feels great, but you know what? I'm going to get up tomorrow morning feel like $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
NFL guys if you ever want to see how to keep yourself in shape and feel better, watch NFL guys workouts. You don't have to do them at that intensity, but maybe follow their trend, I guess. But folks, we're talking running backs today. Mason, of course, is out. I want to thank again Frank Michael Smith, my dog, for coming on. If you have not checked out his show or his YouTube channel or his TikTok, dude, I found this dude on TikTok. I had already been subscribed to him. And then his agent randomly hit up Belly Up Sports about coming on one of our shows. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention to Frank, like the Brandt brothers are my coworkers. He did a whole story on them. Damn it, it slipped out of my hands. I'll text him about it later. But let's talk running backs. Because then we got is clowns of the week, and then that's it. I don't know. Do I do Tuesday clowns of the week or Monday clowns of the week? Or want to hold that for Thursday?
Let's hold it for Thursday.
Hold Thursday? Got it. All right. Here we go.
We'll have a lot to add to that list, I'm sure, by Thursday.
Oh, my God, yes. All right. Here we go. Let's crank that rock music here. We're talking running backs. So, y'all know the rules. Matt and I talk about 5 running backs we like. We got a fit for them, awesome. Player comp for them, awesome. This is a very free-range segment. So, I'm going to start off with my number 5 running back. If I could actually pronounce this dude's name correctly, I would say it. So I'm going to look up at the PFF website and check his name again. That would be out of the University of Texas A&M.
Oh, Devon
Arche is my number 5 running back.
Sure.
Listen, dude has game-breaking speed, but little on the small side.
Mm-hmm.
His pro comp to me is a hybrid of Kenny Gainwell meets Naheem Hines. 2 guys who dominated in the playoffs on their respective teams, or at least were game changers. Very quick, very accelerates fast. I just worry about the body size. I think he's a good change of pace back. I think for a team like Tennessee who has a big back, or a team like Indy who has a bigger back, kind of a nice change of pace. I like him a lot. I think he's a good fit. Maybe also in like Las Vegas or in Los Angeles Chargers now, because apparently they're going to lose Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
So that's my number 5. Number 4, out of UCLA, Zach Charbonnet, whatever. And in my notes, it says big with some wiggle. This dude is a downhill smashing running back. I love how he attacks the ball. gets into the secondary and just wreaks havoc. But a lot of his runs, Matt, he gets in the secondary. Guys are waiting for contact. He gives them a little shimmy shake and gets around them. I love watching it. It was a very entertaining highlight tape. And honestly, not a bad. I think he's a more athletic James Conner. That's what I gave him as my pro comp.
Okay.
Where I think where James Conner struggles to make guys miss, this dude can make guys miss, but he's not going to blow past you on runs. Number 3 is out of the University of Tulane, Tyjae Spears. Now this boy can do some things, man. Great catching the ball in the backfield. Accelerates like a rocket. Him not running the 40 scares me a little bit. If you wanted my bank on what he runs, probably about a 4.48, 4.5 flat. His pro comp to me is Dalvin Cook. He's that Dalvin Cook type where he's going to run downhill. He's very stiff, very upright with his running, but he's good at movement, good at catching the ball in the backfield. Can break long plays. I think he's very good at accelerating, making the play he needs to make, securing the ball, getting yardage. He's a good in-between back. He can take 3 straight carries, take 5 carries on a drive. He's that kind of running back. I like Tyjae Spears. Number 3, the fact that this dude gets Alvin Kamara comps is stupid. He's more like CJ2K to me. That's out of the University of Alabama, formerly Georgia Tech, Jahmyr Gibbs. He is my second favorite running back in this class. Honestly, either 1, 2, or 3 going to my Eagles would make me very happy. I also, by the way, honorable mention, I'll give it to Tank Gibbs. I think it's Tank Gibson I said I liked. Yeah, Tank Bigsby. Sorry. Tank Bigsby and Kendra Miller are my 2 honorable mentions. Big, physical guys who smash, lower their shoulder, and run. Love it. But Jahmyr Gibbs has some pop in those pads. But, dude, Matty, I have not seen a guy 2-step and run past people since, at the running back position since, Chris Johnson. I'm surprised this dude didn't run a faster 40. I think his game speed is even more impressive. And he just, everything just right, man. Catches the ball in the backfield well, breaks tackles, secures the ball, can make dudes miss. He gives me Chris Johnson vibes. And number 1, any of us thought I was going to say anybody else, it's Bijan Robinson. Bijan is weird because he's not like any running back. He's not as explosive. He's more patient than explosive. So he's like a faster, more athletic Le'Veon Bell. He's not as good as a receiver as Le'Veon, obviously. But the way he runs, the way he is a magician. A little shady, a little Le'Veon, a little Saquon, he's got pop, he's got speed, he can block. You know what? He's a complete running back. Whichever team drafts him, going to be very happy. I think his best fit is Philadelphia. This isn't bias. I'm just saying he can split carries with Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott. He's behind a good O-line where he can develop his ability to read the line, find good holes. In a run-first offense, he's going to get the ball early, often. He's going to get reps. And like I said, I can't stress this enough. Top 2 O-line, man. You can't, for a rookie running back, stress that enough. I think if he's there, Philly should take him. I think he should hope Philly grabs him. All right, Maddie, who are your top 5?
All right, I got some. Try to mix it up a little bit. We kind of got the same-ish list. My number 5 is who we were talking about at the beginning of the show. Is the freaking guy that we couldn't remember his name. Devon. What would you say his last name was? How you pronounce that one?
Devon. Ache, maybe. Ake.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna butcher it either way, but I like him. He is a fast man. He ran the fastest 40 time for running backs on the draft and the combine at a 4.32. Not a lot of people know this guy, but I compare him to Ty Johnson with speed. Jets running back. That's a free agent right now in the market, but a man that once he bursts and he finds that lane, you can't tackle him. You can't stop him. He's too fast. I give him like a mix of like a Ty Johnson speed, but I think pro-wise, like a prime young Mark Ingram kind of sounds like that makes some sense. So
Ooh, okay.
Then you have number 4 is when he switched up a little bit. I like Keaton Mitchell. Ran a 4.37, another fast guy like that. A guy that just once he hits the gas pedal, he just accelerates and he's just out of the pocket. A man that's just once he sees that hole open up, he just exploits it. I like him as like a Breece Hall kind of guy in this next draft, like a little, like the Breece Hall of 2023 type draft. Number 3, I also have Tajay Spears. I liked your comp. I really liked your comp with Dalvin Cook. I got him as what Devin Singletary was supposed to be for Buffalo. A guy that could do it all, run and catch, but at the same time, just obviously would just put it together more than obviously Singletary was able to. Because I see the potential in him, but I think Spears could be what they wanted him to be. And then you got Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama, another gadget kind of guy, another fast guy, another guy that I think is going to creep up in the draft. Is going to go a little higher than I think originally people were thinking he was going to go. You mentioned before, you know, he had some Alvin Kamara comps. I kind of like him with Austin Eckler, just as a much better rusher than Eckler, but a guy that can also do it all. And then number 1, obviously, we're going to end it off with Bijan Robinson. I'm comparing him right now, I think, to Josh Jacobs, just a guy that can just has speed and that also could just be physical and just break through when you need him to. But I think he's going to be the best player in the draft, and I think he has a lot of traits with Josh Jacobs, and it's not a bad thing to have, obviously. But those would be my top 5 and my comparisons for all of those guys.
I like it. I mean, it's so weird. Your pro comps are so vastly different when it comes to the way some of their attributes, but you know what? I like the out of the box look at it. I really do.
Trying to come up with some different ones than what the analysts say, and then also what you know.
Yeah. I also just try not to listen to analysts because I feel like half these draft analysts are morons. By the way, next Monday is our draft show. I mean, no, it's our wide receiver edition, which is always fun. It's kind of a smaller class this year, so it should be a lot easier than our 2020 wide receiver show, which was ridiculous.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Then we have tight ends and offensive linemen, and D linemen and edge rushers. Then we have linebackers, and then we have defensive backs, and then we have our mock draft, and then it's NFL draft show. I will be live on our boy Dan Mader's show as usual. Matt will be boots on the ground at JetsCon down there at the Meadowlands for the watch party.
Hopefully so. I'm waiting for them tickets to come out so I can secure mine, but that is the plan right now. Hopefully we have something to look forward to this year.
There you go. No other breaking news really since the show has ended. I mean, the show is going on. Obviously, Jason Kelce back with the Eagles. Love it. That man's the heart and soul of his team.
Speaking of what Frank was asking about earlier, this just came out 2 minutes ago. Patrick Peterson is getting 2 years, $14 million, so he's getting $7 million a year.
It's not terrible.
So if he's still tuning in at all, that is the update for his Pittsburgh Steelers corner.
There you go. I mean, it's definitely be interesting. We didn't even talk Jalen Ramsey to the Dolphins.
That was all right. So one, the Rams, I don't even know if they even cared. They absolutely got fleeced, in my opinion. Get a 3rd round and a practice squad tight end for Jalen Ramsey, who may be coming off a down year, had some injuries, but in my opinion, I think is still a top 5 corner, or at least can be a top 5 corner. He may not be prime peak Jalen Ramsey, but I think he still has at least 2 to 3 more productive years in him.
You know what? I think Ramsey's our age, by the way. I think people forget.
He's 27 or 8.
Yeah. He's 27. He's our age.
Yeah.
I honestly think he's got about 4 more good years left. He's got on a full contract left. And Darius Slay proved, man, listen, if you take care of your body, you can be elite cornerback.
Yeah, I mean, like we were just talking about, you look at Patrick Peterson. I mean, at this age in a corner's career is usually when they look at switching to free safety or something like that just to expand their life. And he's not even at that stage yet. He's still pumping it out at corner.
I think after this stint in Miami, he should switch over to free safety. He's got a while.
Well, with Jalen Ramsey going to Miami, I mean, you had Sauce and G.J. Reed were running that division with the cornerback duos. Now you have Ramsey and Xavier Howard. That's a fantastic duo to have going into the season with the Miami's defense that needed to get more strength on that side of the ball. So it's going to be fantastic for them. I mean, they're making moves. They're making a lot of moves, but Ramsey is a good one.
I think that tomorrow is going to be absolutely fucking batshit.
Yeah, it's going to be batshit, and it's going to be even crazier when you get that first handful of guys that pull in Anthony Barr and opt out of their deal. That's why, like, everybody's all excited about, Jimmy G's a Raider.
Like I said in the first 2 minutes, until I see that ink signed, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, right now it's like, right now is as a period of celebration. It is not a period to gloat, because
also, Frank said it best. He goes, "Listen, like, the draft is big, guys. Some of the biggest moves in the offseason happened in the draft last year."
Yeah. Oh yeah. All like that. We saw two receivers get traded in the first round: Marquise Brown and AJ Brown.
And then we also saw the year before, like the Eagles' biggest move last offseason, non AJ Brown related, was they grabbed Gardner Johnson right before the season started. They signed Bradbury a week in the training camp, and they grabbed Hassan Reddick on the first day of free agency, and then didn't do shit.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, and the same thing, the Chiefs, some of their best moves were like post free agency. This gets all the hype because it's the first big NFL news. But either way, I want to thank Frank Michael Smith, our dog, for coming on. Go check out his content. He is one of the best. Also, go check out our content. Matt's been killing it with the TikToks lately. Mason's on vacation. He'll be back Monday. Thursday is the Korner Booth pregame, Jared's birthday show. Always a fun time. We end up not talking WBC or NCAA sadness, and I'm okay with that because my Tar Heels don't want to talk about it. But yeah, no. We're my D-backs cap today because we gave the number 2 prospect in baseball an 8-year extension.
8-year.
Gotta love it. Speed, power, yeah, great head of hair. Gotta love Corbin.
Real quick though on that one, I think that is a brilliant move for the Diamondbacks. It's pretty much what Atlanta does, is when they lock up their guys young for a long period of time, and then eventually they realize they probably could have made some more money if they waited a little bit. But it's smart for the Diamondbacks to get under it while they can. Yeah,
because I think the Diamondbacks, looking at the Braves, like the Diamondbacks Arizona's a bigger market than Atlanta. Technically, they just don't market their team well. The Diamondbacks have been bad for a lot of their years because they think like a small to mid market team, where they need to think like a mid to large market team. But they need to be smarter with their money than say like an LA or a San Fran does. But either way, enough Diamondback talk for today. Shout out to our amazing sponsors, Cannadips.com, promo code BELLYUP 20 for 20% off, and YeetzOfficial.com, promo code Korner Booth for 10% off. I am your host, Jared Clem. That is Matt Ardaza. We will see you guys on Thursday for the Korner Booth pregame. Peace.